Support WrestleTalk!
Follow us on Twitter.
There are times when life throws you a curveball, and then there are other times when it's as predictable as the sun setting, water being wet, and Sega making a bad Sonic the Hedgehog game. Take YouTube for example. Last weekend we posted a video about Roman Reigns main eventing his 4th WrestleMania in a row being a good thing, and the comments were as predictable as you would imagine a video hosted by me supposedly praising the big dog would get.
If Roman Reigns wins, we riot. He doesn't have many wrestling moves. Like it is! Not watching WrestleMania this year!
Just the idea of Roman Reigns getting praised makes people so mad they forget how to spell. It even got a huge amount of downvotes when compared to other WrestleTalk videos. Of course that video was going to get those comments, most likely from people not watching the video first, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. I was expecting these comments and actually I was kind of looking forward to them. WWE and predictability are words that are often thrown together in the comments of WrestleTalk videos.
WWE is dying because it's so predictable.
Some say, while others go,
I'm not watching WrestleMania because it's so predictable.
One of the other common comments we get a lot in terms of predictability is that
WWE never used to be predictable in the Attitude Era, and that's why the PG sucks.
And maybe it's just me, but that wasn't the case when I was watching wrestling during the Attitude Era. In 2000, we all knew The Rock was winning the Royal Rumble and was going against Triple H, even though in our heart of hearts we wanted Cactus Jack to win the WWF Championship at No Way Out. In 2001, we all knew Steve Austin was winning the Royal Rumble and would face The Rock for the WWF Championship, even though Kurt Angle was the champion at the time. In 2002, we all knew the returning Triple H was going to win the Royal Rumble and main event WrestleMania. Even though we all knew that, none of it really bothered us, and it certainly didn't ruin my enjoyment. Royal Rumble 2001 is one of my favorite Rumble matches of all time. I wanted Kane to win, but Austin was clearly the favorite because it was highly unlikely that Kane was main eventing WrestleMania that year. And that Rumble led to WrestleMania X7, one of the best and most celebrated pay-per-views in WWE's history. Predictability certainly didn't ruin that for anyone. In fact, the only thing on WrestleMania X7 that was unpredictable, Austin turning heel and aligning with Vince McMahon, is one of the worst things on the show. The case of predictability has come up a lot in WWE, with Roman Reigns winning the Elimination Chamber, so he can headline WrestleMania against Brock Lesnar. Roman Reigns winning the Elimination Chamber was so predictable, a lot of people thought he was going to win the Royal Rumble. But seriously, going into that show, we all knew that Roman was walking out the winner. I mean, that's the story WWE has been telling all last year. Brock Lesnar runs through all the competition, and then Roman slays the Beast on the grandest stage of them all. So is this WWE being predictable or telling a solid story? When I went to see Captain America's Civil War, I was expecting some surprises along the way, but knew the film would end with Iron Man and Cap clashing. And that film ruled. Was it predictable? Sure, but I liked everyone involved and I loved the hell out of its final act. Asuka is another person who comes under fire from the "it's predictable" curse.
Why should we get invested in her matches if she's just gonna win all the time?
Some might ask. I don't know, but we sure didn't mind when Goldberg had the same booking, nor when Ryback had it in 2012. In fact, what made Goldberg and Ryback less interesting was losing their streaks. I can't help but think of another predictable WrestleMania storyline WWE told that we all didn't have a problem with. In 2014, the wrestling world was hot for Daniel Bryan. The former Bryan Danielson had captured the hearts of the WWE fanbase, and we wanted nothing more than to see him win the WWE Championship from the clutches of the Authority. So come WrestleMania 30, we all knew the final moments of that show would be Daniel Bryan holding aloft the WWE Championship, because that made the most storyline sense, and it was an incredible moment. Some people argue that the likes of Dave Meltzer ruined wrestling's unpredictability because he reports on the backstage plans. But Dave's been doing this for nearly 40 years, and it's never bothered anyone previously. And I also get told that he has no sources and just makes stuff up. So is he ruining wrestling, or is he a hack? The flip side of this argument is that unpredictability is awesome and exciting, and that certainly is true. The Undertaker's WrestleMania winning streak is one of WWE's biggest accidental achievements, a stunning string of successes that eventually brought around some amazing matches when he faced the likes of Shawn Shawn Michaels, Triple H, CM Punk, and Edge. And when that streak came to an end, we were all shocked. I mean, just look at this guy. But that shock only worked because the Undertaker streak had become so ingrained in all of our subconsciouses. Seth Rollins cashing in his Money in the Bank contract at WrestleMania 31 was incredibly unpredictable, but if you did that angle again the following year, would it have had the same effect? Maybe it's not that WWE is too predictable, and Roman Reigns main eventing WrestleMania is too predictable, and Asuka's streak isn't interesting because it's too predictable. Maybe you just don't want to see Roman Reigns main event WrestleMania. Maybe you don't like Asuka, or aren't invested in any of WWE storylines at the moment. My wife knew that Captain America's Civil War was going to end with Tony Stark and Steve Rogers butting heads, but because she isn't a fan of Iron Man, she didn't enjoy the film as much as I did. I do agree that WWE is very predictable at times, but I also don't think that's the worst thing in the wrestling world, and certainly not the first thing the company needs to change. Pushing guys into the main event of WrestleMania that people actually like would be a good start. We have other opinion-based videos here at WrestleTalk, so click the videos on screen right now for more awesome wrestling content.